Hey guys, so hey, I'm doing something different. I told you guys that I wanted to do some more videos that were a little bit different, some tutorials that were kind of fun, and so I decided to do that today, and I went to Ulta, so you'll be seeing a haul video with the same sort of get up here. I'll be filming that next. I picked up the NYX Ultimate palette. This one has a ton of brights, and I definitely wanted to get something with some brighter colors, something that would be fun, something that I could use to create different looks, something from the drugstore as well, because I don't want to spend a ton of money on colors like this that I actually will not use on an everyday basis, but it's fun to have, it's good to have as well. When you want to just do something a little bit different, you want to be spontaneous and add just a little something before you put on your mascara, this is something that I can see myself doing that with. I will keep using some of them because I had some difficulties through the video with these two shades here. They're kind of patchy maybe because they're mattes. That could also very well be the reason why, but I'm really excited about this palette. And this look, actually, I think I did pretty good. So I hope that you guys will enjoy it. If you want to see how to do the eyes, then keep watching. The eyeshadow palette that I'm going to use is the NYX Ultimate palette, which has all of the bright eyeshadows. And I was going back and forth what I wanted to do, but for some reason, this sort of like aqua type of color is calling my name, so I think that's what I'm going to work with. But first, I'm going to take a little bit of concealer and apply just a tiny amount onto the lids, and I'm also going to set it with the Mineral Veil from Bare Minerals just to act as a primer for this so that the eyeshadows stand out, being that they are so bright. I want to make sure that they stand out. If you have a white eyeshadow base, you could do that. I don't have one, so I'm just going to use concealer, damp beauty sponge, and I'm just going to press this right over the lids just to tone down because I do have some veinings. But if that's not an issue for you, you can certainly skip this step. You don't have to do it. And then I'm going over that with the Mineral Veil just to set everything so it doesn't move around. A skin tone color, again, just to even out everything. So I'm just going to mix a few shades to make something that matches my skin. I'm going to take this all the way up to the brow bone. And so for me, I'm going to use a mixture of all three on the first row of the Sonia Kashuk palette. And this will all be listed down below as well, so you can screenshot it if you're interested in picking up any of these items that I used today. Okay, so now we're going to do some crease work. I am going to switch to the Morphe M441. It's just the first crease brush that I picked up. This shade here, which is like a light skin tone ivory shade with just a touch of this tan shade. It's kind of going back and forth, mixing the two, just to kind of give myself a little bit of dimension here. Because I think what I want to do is use that aqua shade in the crease as well. So I don't want to go too dark to start off with, because I'm just going with whatever comes to mind as I'm doing this video. Alright, so if anything changed with the lighting, I will try to fix it with Final Cut as I'm editing. But my ISO on my camera was a little high, so that's why everything was, to me, seemed to wash out on my monitor here. So I'm going to fix that. Okay. So for my crease, this is a Zoeva 228. You guys know how much I love this brush. I adore this brush so much. I'm going to go in with that light aqua shade. So it looks like this. And it seems to be pretty pigmented. I'll swatch a few of them just to kind of show you just randomly. Whoa. Okay, that purple is crazy. Let's see, these are some of the swatches. As you can see, the quality seems to be really good. Okay, so I'm got a little bit on my brush, and I'm going to start building this into my crease. See how this goes. It's not really showing up as aqua as I would like. It's just looking like, it's just looking green. Use just a flat eyeshadow brush I'm going to pick up that same color. And I'm going to just put this onto the lid. Okay, so that's better. You have to use like a flat brush because using it with a crease brush, you're only going to get like a wash of the color, so it's not really going to have that impact. So we're going to take this all over the lid. So scratch my initial idea. Pretty. I feel a little bit weird wearing colors like this because I don't normally do this, but I thought it would be fun to just do something different every now and again and kind of switch it up because I do use a lot of neutrals and I stick to the same shades because it's what I feel comfortable with, a lot of warm tones. And after a while, everything on YouTube starts to look the same. I mean, how many beauty videos are there? It's like such an oversaturated thing at this point, so it is what it is. Okay, so now that actually blended out really nicely on the lid. I have to say I'm impressed with it using a dense pack brush. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other eye, starting with the same shade in the crease and then taking it onto the lid. All right, so I've just gone back to build up both sides. If you wanted it more intense, I'd say put a white base down for sure. And I'm going to switch to a Sonia Kashuk brush. This is the number 106. It's just a small eyeshadow brush to add a little bit of the color that's right next to if you have this palette or if you're doing something similar. It's a few shades darker. This one does have a bit of a sheen to it. And I'm going to apply this to the outer part of the eye. And blending that in on this outer part. And the reason why I'm using this type of brush is because it's going to show up better using flat, dense brushes versus something that's fluffy and more like a crease style because that is going to diffuse the color. And also so far, not a whole ton of fallout on the lower lashes or on the under eye area, which is what I thought was going to happen. So far, so good. And then with a pencil style brush, I'm just going to start softening out those edges and kind of blending it together. And I feel like a pencil style brush would work to blend, but also because the bristles are a little bit more densely packed on a pencil brush versus a crease brush. So you're more likely just to soften everything without taking away too much of the color. Some kind of warmth to this look. So I think I'm going to go in with the Sonia Kashuk palette and add a little bit of this peach shade here just to warm this up a bit. It's very intense. I'm just going to add just a little bit right around the edges here. Okay, I switched to a bigger brush because that one, I feel like I'm going to be here till tomorrow adding some of that peach just to get it to show up. So I switched to a Morphe E22. Alright, so I'm going to come back to the eyes in a little bit, but I use Q-tips with a little bit of eye cream just to kind of clean up, and as you can probably see, there's a little bit of some blue coming off on there, and I want to make sure that I get everything off, especially like this inner tear duct area, before going in with any of my concealers or foundations. And I've just sort of cleaned around the edges to create a bit of a line, but not super exaggerated like if I were to use a piece of tape, because I'm not going for that look today, but using that with a little bit of eye cream is a good thing to do as well, just a little beauty tip to kind of hydrate that area before going in with concealer, because my under eye area does get really dry, or it has been lately. So I'm going to go in with some concealer, the Smashbox Studio Skin, and I have my damp beauty blender. I've been using my mineral foundation as my concealer these days, so I'm going to see how this blends out because my skin has been a little bit on the dry side. Again, with that damp beauty blender, I'm going to work this into the skin. And I know it's going to look a little bit weird because I don't have any foundation on, so I know, I see it. Okay, so I was going to use this Estee Lauder foundation They sent me in the Ipsy bag, not Estee Lauder, Ipsy, the Double Wear To Go in the shade 2C3 Fresco. I'm assuming the C stands for cool, but this is like way too pink. So I'm going to just do my mineral foundation off camera because I was intending to do that and then going to give you my thoughts on this, like a first impressions. But this has way too much pink for me, so I will not be using this, unfortunately. I was really excited about this. Dang it. Yeah, it's way too pink. You see? I'm not going to be able to see it. But, oh man, I'm super red now. I'm going to do that off camera, and then I'll be back. Alright, so I've gone ahead and added my foundation, which is the Bare Minerals, and I've done the under eye area for this eye. So what we're going to do is obviously do this other eye. So I am going to use a small dense brush to apply a little bit of some peach eyeshadow. And that's what I did first, but at the very end, you're not really going to see this. So I'm just going to do it because I did it on the other eye. But I took the peach from the Sonia Kashuk palette, and then I just added that to the lower lashes. So I'm just going to slap that on really quickly because I ended up covering it up. Of course. So then I'm going to go in with the Aqua that I used on the upper lids. And I'm going to apply that to the lower lashes. And I'm taking this color pretty much all the way in. And leaving the inner corner bare because I'm going to use something else there. And then I'm going to use that same darker blue color that I used on the crease. I'm going to use that right on this outer part as well. I'm going to make sure that it kind of connects up into that. And it's going to create a bit of a line. But what I'm going to do is just kind of tap it out just to create a bit of a shape to it. So what I'm noticing with these eyeshadows, especially those two, I'm going to keep working with the palette to see if it's the palette in general, but sometimes I feel like these colors are just a little bit kind of patchy when you're working with it, and I am not that big of a fan of that. So then what I ended up doing, I wanted something a little bit darker on the lower lashes, so I busted out a Makeup Geek eyeshadow in the shade called Time Travel, which is just a really dark blue, but it has a bit of a kind of blue-greenish, I don't know, undertone to it. So I decided to go for that to add some darkness because I didn't want to use anything that was too close to black. So yeah, I'm going to just go ahead and match up the other eye. I think with the mascara, liner, and stuff like that, I think it's going to look much better. And I'm going to go right on this outer edge of the eye. See, it's applying much better on this eye than it did on this eye. So let me go ahead and fix this side. And then for the inner corner, I wanted something very sparkly and just a subtle hint of something special there. So I ended up using an eyeshadow from Anastasia in the shade called Pink Champagne. I'm pretty sure you can get this individually, but this is from a palette that I've had for quite some time. And I'm just going to use that on a little detail brush. And that's going to go into the inner corner. This is such a pretty color as well. But it's a little bit of a pink shade. Actually, it's not a little bit. It's very pink, but pretty. Then for the waterline, I took the NYX Wonder Pencil in Light. They have this, I think, in 3 shades. So I'm going to take that and run that on the waterline. Alright, so a few last steps. For eyeliner, I'm going to use the Makeup Forever Aqua Eyes in 12L, which is just a dark bluish color. It looks really dark, but the contrast between this that has a bit of a kind of sheen, like metallic finish to it, with this sort of blue-green eyeshadow looks really pretty. So that's what I'm going to do for liner. So I'm going to add some mascara. I'm going to try out the Clinique High Impact. And I'm going to throw those on, and then I'll be right back. Alright guys, so the eyes are complete. I decided to use the Ardel number 120 Demi lashes instead. For some reason, when I took one of these lashes off, the Lily ones, they kind of straightened out and I couldn't get them to mold to my eye. I ain't got time for that. This is why I don't mess with false eyelashes, just because it takes so long to get them on, at least for me, because I am not the best at applying lashes. So put these on. These are so easy to apply, and they don't come in too far into the inner corner, which I personally like, because when they do come in too far, it bothers me, and I can feel them when I blink. No. So 120s are good, but I do also like the Demi Wispies. Those are probably my favorite Ardel ones. The rest of the face, I will just walk you through it, and of course list it down below as always. For my bronzer, I used a little bit of the Tartiest contour palette. I've been using this a lot lately, and I've enjoyed this quite a bit, more so than I thought. And I just use the lighter of the two dark shades in this palette for some little bit of bronzing, kind of warming up my skin tone because I am pretty fair. For highlight, as you guys can see, I've got some glow happening here, and I'm loving it. I know what you're going to say. Girl, can you get another highlight? But I had to. I had to do it. I love this. I freaking love this, and you may not be able to tell, but it's got, like, you can tell where I use it quite a bit. So I used that lighter kind of rosy champagne color today. I love it. I also use the e.l.f. small tapered brush to apply it instead of a fan brush, and it gives me this mega glow that you see here, and I am loving it so much. But I washed this last night with a few other brushes, and I forgot how good that e.l.f. brush is, so highly recommend that you try that brush out. For blush, I decided to do a little bit of a peach color, and this is Makeup Geek Bliss, just because I felt like adding a little bit of peach. Hey, why not? So that's for the blush. For lips, I use my Milani All Natural Lip Liner and the Rimmel London number 45. This is the Kate's Nude, and I will swatch it for you guys so you can see how pretty it is. It's a very flattering nude. It's not a concealer type of nude where it just completely washes you out. It's got a little bit of color, but it's not too pink. It's actually quite nice. And that's all I'm wearing on my lips for this look today. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I know it didn't start off as I planned, but that's kind of what happens when you use products for the first time on camera instead of trying beforehand. I will keep you guys posted on whether or not I like the formula of that. So far, those two blue-green colors that I was using today were a little bit difficult, kind of patchy. I had to keep going back and layering and fixing it up a bit. Not bad for what you paid for the price point. I think it's $18 for that palette, but I will keep trying some of those. You will see that palette again, maybe some kind of the lime green maybe in a video, maybe some of the warm orangey kind of tones. I don't know. You let me know. I hope you guys liked this tutorial. I actually enjoyed the overall look. I think the lashes definitely add that little extra glam to this look. It makes it a little bit better, and I'm digging it. I'm digging the inner corner with that really foiled pinky champagne color from Anastasia Beverly Hills. So beautiful. So thank you guys so much for spending some of your day here with me. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos in the future. You can follow me on social media. I have Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. It's always listed down below, and I'll talk to you there. Take care. Bye-bye.